What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Variant to the Podcast.
I don't know if we should just say another, or if we should say we're starting over.
Yeah,
we're starting over. We've been gone a long time.
A month and a half.
We're
alive. More importantly, you're alive because people see me weekly.
Yes.
But you're living.
Yes, some people were concerned that I may no longer be here on Earth. Maybe I took off with Elon Musk somewhere.
SpaceX,
I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, you never know. But no, I am very much still breathing and alive and well.
Tim Conley, everybody.
Thank you. Good to be back with you. And greetings, Variant Nation. Welcome back to Variant the Podcast. We are excited to be back.
I feel like I'm going to be rusty. It's been a minute.
We got plenty to say. Anyway,
it's been,
so.
May, a little bit before May the 4th.
Just before May.
Yeah, just before May.
It was the end of April was our last podcast, and the reason for kind of the long hiatus is we traveled down to Disney. We had a whole slew of different things going on, but mostly, we just had a bunch of projects come up, and I needed to set aside time to be able to dictate time properly and delegate time properly. So we had to take some time off, but we are back, and I will tell you that we are going to be changing up the podcast format a little bit. And how we roll it out.
Say.
A little bit of change.
But nobody likes change, Tim.
Oh, but it's coming anyway. We're all used to change at this point, aren't we? I mean, after the last few years.
It's good change.
It's good change. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be doing the podcast, a full 1 hour podcast once a month. And then every week, other than that, we are going to be doing kind of breakouts where we're able to dive in and do more short form content where we're addressing or dealing with or talking about like the hot news of the day, i.e. new trailers that drop, things like that.
The Joker musical, which we'll get to later.
Exactly. So, because what we were finding is we were having, the podcast, because it's just one of many things that we do here at Triune Films, not just Variant. Triune Films is an overall production company. We have 2 different shows that we produce and a lot of different projects going on at any given time. So what we found ourselves doing is the podcast getting behind a lot of the big news and coming out late. And a lot of you guys were like, why are you guys taking so long to talk about X, Y, or Z? Well, that's why. The podcast was just one of many things that we do. And we're not always able to shoot it on the days where that's a trending topic or whatever.
Yeah.
But changing up the format in this way will allow us to engage with you guys a little bit better, which I'm very excited about. I know you're very excited about. Not just here on the podcast, but also in social media. We've got a whole new social media a plan that we're going to be rolling out where we're going to be engaging with you guys, talking with you guys a lot more. So there's a lot of things going on, but the format here will change a little bit. But when we do the longer form podcasts, we're also going to be finally bringing on a lot more guests, starting with next week. We actually have our good friend Comic Tom coming on the show. He'll be here in studio.
I'm very excited. I haven't seen that dude in person for like 4 years or something like that.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So we're going to have him in studio. We're going to be talking comics, all kinds of things, and maybe a surprise or two. So we'll see how that goes. But today...
It's a lightning round, Tim.
That's right. It's the lightning round return. So we have... I think we counted. It's like 20, right?
Yes. It's roughly. I think we added some more... We added more.
Okay.
So let's just say 20-ish.
Okay, 20-ish topics. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a lightning round, and we're just going to give our thoughts, our brief thoughts. We broke it down to 3 minutes a topic. Some of them might be a little less, but 3 minutes is the max, and we're going to time it. So we can't go over. This is going to
be hard for some of them.
Each of us tend to be long-winded on one topic or another.
Because if we were to do this evenly, that's 1.5 minutes each.
Yes.
That's math.
That's... we do math. We do math around here. So we're going to go...
2 plus 2 is potato.
It is potato. So we're going to start with the thing that we stepped out of studio for back at the beginning of May, which is our trip to Disney and the Cosmic Rewind.
What hat are you wearing? For those of you watching, what hat are you wearing, Tim? Ooh, Cosmic Rewind. That's some of the swag we got.
I actually love this hat, by the way.
Yeah, I have mine in my office currently. I switched hats because I don't want to be wearing the same hat.
Twin. But yeah, so they actually gave us this hat as one of the pieces of swag when we were down there, and I actually freaking love this hat. I wear it all the time now.
I like saying swag bag.
Well, it kind of rolls.
Swag bag.
Yeah, swag bag.
Because, when we go to like these events and stuff like that, they give you like swag bags.
Hey, you got my swag bag?
Dude, we got Bluetooth
Where's
speakers.
the room for the swag bags?
We got hats. We got
They actually gave us a box.
Yeah, they gave us a box.
They gave us a box.
Well, that was like that was like the Disney 50 year.
Yeah.
The 50th year box.
50 Santa the 50th anniversary celebration. Was that what it's called?
So there was like plushes in there, cups,
Yeah,
pillows, and then we got a swag bag for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
We digress. That's
yeah, we're getting
the
off.
point.
Already we're ruining our lightning round return.
We got cool stuff.
So all right, so I'm gonna set the timer. 3 minutes.
All
right. So it breaks it up. Minute and a half. Thoughts on Cosmic Rewind, the new ride at Disney. Yeah, this is gonna be an easy one. Okay. But here we go. 3 minutes rolling.
All right, Cosmic Rewind. It is my favorite Disney coaster for sure. For me, it is a hybrid of Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster. And it's literally one of the most fun rides in general I've ever been on. That's the most simplified way to say it, and that's not just because
really you would say most fun ride you've ever been on.
Yeah, dude, we went on it like 5 times.
We
it was really, really fun, and that's not just because people were like, "Oh, Disney flew you out." It's like, yeah, but it's still really fun. Yeah. Like I'm paying later this year or next year to go myself and take my family because it's that much fun. So in short, I loved it. One of the best. Actually, it might be. It's top 3 Disney rides period for me right now.
Wow. Yeah. I think that's actually reasonable. So here's the thing, because I 100% agree with you. It's Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster had a baby. 100% totally. It has to be easily in my top 5 now. I was shocked. You guys probably, if you followed us while we were there, we said it, but it was easily a shock. I was not expecting it to be that good because Disney has opened a couple rides over the last few years, and I've been on some of them, and you know, some of them are good, and some of them are just kind of eh. And that includes the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was the Rise of the Resistance blew our minds. But
that was really fun too.
What's it called? The Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run. It was okay.
It was all right.
It was okay.
Yeah. It was a little bit disappointing because it's the Millennium Falcon.
I would say like just the queue and just being
walking
in the cockpit and stuff like that is more fun than the actual ride itself.
Yes. And I keep waiting for them to change it, but I don't want to get off on that. But so I went in not knowing really what to expect, even though it was a coaster, and they just blew my expectations out of the water.
Right.
And I think what made it more fun is because we went on it and there was a whole group of influencers there, and everybody that was there was just really, really fun and great people. And we were hanging with Cleo Thomas and his brother Kadeem, and we just
zero, bro.
We had 0 from holes for all of you guys that are fans.
Super nice dude, by the way.
Both of them.
Like, him and his brother, amazing.
Yeah, we actually had a blast. We were just hanging out and doing a bunch of stuff.
We went to dinner. We're like, table for 4?
But we kept going on because they were just as excited to go on it as we were. And so we got off and we just kind of ran right back on. And it was a lot of fun. So I would agree. It's top 5 for sure.
Yes. So with that said, Tim, now we got to move on.
I'm going to reset. Look at this. We're already on time. I'm really excited about it.
Boom. So next up, Moon Knight finale. All right, Moonlight finale. Can't even talk. It's been that long. I forgot to talk. Moon Knight finale. I enjoyed it. It's one of those things where I liked that it was really self-contained. I think that's one of the things I liked about it most, which may be a reason some people didn't enjoy it. But I like that because we've had so many of the Disney Plus shows have been like trying to tie into things where I like that I didn't have to worry about like, oh, how's this going to tie into like the timelines? How's this going to tie into freaking I'm forgetting his freaking name from. Oh my gosh,
the guy.
Kang the Conqueror. There it is.
There we go.
How's it gonna tie into Kang? All that stuff. I think it's set up perfectly for a season 2 or a possible movie, and I'm excited to see Moon Knight return and Oscar Isaac do his thing with, I could say spoilers now, right? It's been long enough. With
spoilers.
Jake Lockley, who was revealed at the end.
The very end.
Which is really cool. And they're doing a Hispanic take on him, which is really cool. So I thought that was fun.
I thought that was the most interesting part of it.
Yeah, because it's definitely going to make, I think with Moon Knight, the personalities, it works, I think, even more a little bit. It's one of those changes for live action that I'm like, oh, I can get down with that because it just makes each one that much more different. So I like that.
Yeah. So overall, you would say the entire series landed well for you?
Yes. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Disney Plus Marvel series, but it's definitely up there.
Okay. So I'm in the same boat. The entire series, I would say, landed with a thumbs up for me. I liked the entire series. There was a couple of moments there along the way that were, it kind of started to teeter a little bit for me. But overall, I think they stuck the landing. And it was definitely enough for me to look forward to a season 2 and what else they might be doing with him in the MCU. The finale was, with a lot of these Disney Plus series, I'm noticing that we're putting way too much. This is kind of like where I'm at now. Is we're putting way too much on these shows, like in terms of expectations.
Yeah, we're wanting a lot out of it.
Yeah, and they're just kind of dabbling with the stuff more recently, especially. They're just kind of dabbling in things.
It makes sense, though, and even when you think back, Kevin Feige and stuff said this is just a way to expand things out and do the stories that you couldn't spend a lot of time on in the movies, which basically is like a nice fancy way of saying we could do all those little side stories that really don't matter that much, pushing things forward in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit is that, like, us as fans, you know, our expectations too high.
Yeah, I mean, some of that is their fault because they early on they were teasing a lot of things, but with Moon Knight, I think I wasn't really expecting as much. I was expecting to be more self-contained. So we mostly got what we expected out of it, and overall, Oscar Isaac just did a phenomenal job.
And it was an origin story.
I was happy with it.
So now going forward, we could just run with Moon Knight, where everything's set up, and apparently Arthur Harrow may not be dead, says Ethan Hawke.
We're going to see.
In an interview recently.
We're going to see. Time's up. Wow. Way to let us know. All right, on to the next topic.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
We're already here.
We saw that while we were in Orlando.
We did. While we were actually in Disney. That was one of the things they treated us to, the Multiverse of Madness, just before it came out, a couple days before it came out. And I will say right up front, this is something that really ticked me off.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
The day before we were going to see it, I survived. It was the night before. I survived all spoilers, even with what we do. I was able to dodge all spoilers the night before we saw it. Some joker, I don't know who you are out there, but you know who you are, posted a YouTube video with John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, as the thumbnail. And it popped up in the feed when I was checking some stuff for Variant. And you're sitting right next to me, Cleo, Kadeem sitting right next to me. And I just put my phone down. They were like, what happened? And I was just like, something just got spoiled. And they were like, no.
Pretty bad.
And it was like it was the only really big thing that was left in the film. I mean, that we really didn't already know or have a hint of.
No, Black Bolt was a massive one. I was more because
Really?
We had no inkling. That wasn't even a thing in my mind that Black Bolt was going to show up.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair. That's fair. But that happened. So that's
a big one. It
was a big one.
Because that's one of my favorite parts of the movie, because that's something that I feel like us fans manifested into reality.
Yeah.
Because he's been fan casted for years, and they actually were like, you know what?
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea. We're going to get him.
They did it.
And they did it. So, but I guess, overall,
now we only have a minute 19 seconds to go through it.
Well, I liked the movie. I didn't love the movie. I felt like I was a little underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I didn't not like it, but I wasn't like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Again, I think, I don't know, maybe it's Marvel pushing or maybe my own expectations. I felt like it should have done more pushing the multiverse forward, because it's literally called the Multiverse of Madness, especially like freaking No Way Home had way more things to do with the multiverse, bringing in all these different versions of Spider-Man villains and characters, when this one was just like, okay, I guess you got like the Illuminati and like an alternate version of Stranger too.
But even what they did to the Illuminati.
Yeah.
Like immediate death.
Which, I mean, that was kind of shocking though.
Spoilers for everything we're talking about, by the way. So if you hear us start about a topic, it's going to be spoilerific. So
that scene was pretty cool though, when they were like killing everyone, because it's not the main version, so you can kill them off. So like, when John Krasinski returns in the Fantastic Four movie, it'll be the 616
that's
universe,
the hope.
Which is another thing. They put the nail in the coffin. The MCU is 616.
It's 616. Yeah.
So now no one has to argue about that anymore.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm the same. I walked out of that. I think I walked out of there literally going, huh. Because again, we're victims of our own expectations.
It's happening a lot with Marvel specifically.
With Marvel. Yes, exactly. I can't say anything else about it. You're gonna have to wait until some other time in the future. No, very quickly. It was very much the same. I walked out of there not knowing what to think. As I digested it, it was very much like that was not what I expected. It really didn't give us any broader answers, that was the biggest, most disappointing part. Cool stuff with the Illuminati, but they killed them off right away, and they really didn't give us much past that. It was just kind of a little bit more setup and not much more. And the VFX in that, there was a lot of questionable stuff. So I walked away very, very iffy and not super overall.
And can't forget Clea at the post-credit scene at the end.
Yes,
Stranger's
the introduction of Clea. That's right. So that was
another
Charlize
Theron.
That was another big setup. So we'll see where that goes.
But on that note,
and it only goes downhill from here.
we got our first trailer at She-Hulk Attorney at Law.
Yep.
Which we got a teaser trailer for that. I've said it on social. I am not the biggest She-Hulk fan.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Admittedly, so like I wasn't excited about this show per se. It's like, there's so many characters in comic books. I'm not a massive fan of all of them. She's one of the ones where it's like I've only really read She-Hulk when she shows up in an Avengers book or like another Marvel title that I'm reading.
Right.
With that said, I've seen the trailer. I'm like, all right, like I'm gonna obviously watch it. Just because of what we do and who I am, just loving stuff. I'm like, I feel like at this point, I'm like a lot of people who are so invested into the MCU, whether you're super excited or not. It's like you have to watch it if anything, just to know how it fits in the grand scheme of things. But I don't know. I'm going in with an open mind. It could shock me. So
yeah, I mean, I kind of viewing She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, very similarly to how I went into Miss Marvel. It just kind of knowing this is probably not going to be my cup of tea. Like it looks like Sex in the City meets a Marvel show.
Well, Marvel themselves are literally comparing it to like Ally McBeal.
Yeah, so
that's part of the pitch.
Exactly. So just knowing that going in is very helpful for me because I can just go in saying this is probably not going to be my style show. I'll watch a couple of episodes. I'm going to look at it very similarly to how I did a lot of the Marvel shows that were on ABC and even Freeform with Cloak and Dagger, where it was just like I'm going to check it out. Probably not going to be my thing. Maybe I'll catch a couple episodes, and after that, I'll just catch highlights to see if anything happens that's impactful to the overall MCU.
You know what's interesting? We're getting so much Marvel content. Like I was thinking about this recently, that it's like we're at the stage where you don't have to and shouldn't like everything because there's so much. They're at the point where they're just specifically making things for like this age group, that demographic, or this. If you want this kind of comedy, you want this kind of horror, like because there's just so much. So it's not like we're only getting 2 or 3 movies a year now. We're getting so much Marvel content, that I feel like you really can't even be mad if like you're not into She-Hulk, or you're not into that because like. Then watch Moon Knight or watch WandaVision or watch. There's just so much to offer. It's like comic books in general. When you go to the comic book shop, you're not reading every single title. You pick the ones you like, and we're basically at the point with that with the MCU film. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and if the audience isn't there, they'll just move on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it'll work out just fine. But so far, nothing happened. The one thing I will mention, because all of you know, the Hulk is my guy. That is my favorite. That's my favorite hero. And in this show, it just looks like they're just going to continue the emasculation of the Hulk in this show, which
He's Professor Hulk, Tim.
Yeah, that's the only thing that bothers me about it is that they're bringing him in, and it just looks like they're just going to continue this horrible version of the Hulk, and that's the one thing that I'm just like.
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be a handoff because there's freaking handing off mantles left and right in the MCU.
But that means that the main Hulk is going to be gone without us ever getting back to just full blown. See, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I think now.
There we go.
Time's up.
There we go.
Anyway, the Hulk.
We got to lock that in the Phantom Zone.
That's right. Moving on.
All right, this is a big one. This is gonna be I guess it's all rapid fire, but Star Wars Celebration also happened.
Yeah. So this one, some things are gonna be faster, some things because a lot happened in Star Wars Celebration.
There's a lot of Star Wars news.
All right, so we can probably we'll stick to our 3 minutes per.
Yeah.
And some of it's going to be under because there's not much to say about them.
Right. So first up, the first thing they announced on that Thursday, because Star Wars Celebration is a 4-day event, is Andor. We got our first official trailer for it, and
it's about time.
That show has been shot for like how many years now?
Dude,
like been sitting on it.
We've been talking about it here on the show. Like, when are we going to get a release date? This has been done for a long time.
It's crazy. And we got a release date August 31st.
And we got a first full trailer.
Yeah.
For it. And it looked, I think you feel the same way. It looked much different than I expected. At least this look at it, because we've got a tease of it.
Like a behind the scenes kind of making of look, yeah.
But this trailer had a very different tone than I expected. It looks like it's going to be very unique in the Star Wars universe. But it looks great, I thought. Yeah,
it's one of those shows that I would have never asked for, but after seeing the trailer, I'm like, I'm intrigued. Yeah. And I think it's cool that it takes place 5 years before A New Hope. The first season will take place over the course of 1 year. They already confirmed a second season, which is going to be 12 episodes.
Is it A New Hope or Rogue One?
It's kind of the same thing because literally Rogue One is
passes
like
right off into
yeah,
A New Hope.
yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah, you're right.
And so that's another thing. Both seasons will be 12 episodes. The second season will take place over the course of 4 years. So they're covering 4 years in season 2, and then it's gonna end. The final episode of season 2 will end right where Rogue One begins. So it'll be a seamless pass off, just like Rogue One was a seamless pass off into A New Hope.
I'm glad you looked at that because I did not. When I say I've been busy over the last couple of months, I'm not kidding. So that's actually really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I really like that, and I'm hoping that this is going to have the tone and the feel. They're going to keep the tone and the feel of Rogue One.
Yes,
because Rogue One was really well done. I would argue that's one of the best pieces of Star Wars content that's come out.
I would say as far as movie-wise, it's the best Disney Star Wars film.
Yes, 100% agree with that.
Because you have that, Solo, and then the 3 of the new trilogy.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm excited for it.
I am too. And August 31st. That's
31st.
when we're getting it, and it's actually sooner than I thought, so I'm excited about that.
I feel like these type of shows, too, where it's not like Darth Vader, Boba Fett, all these iconic Star Wars characters, it has a leg up because we're not expecting something from like Boba Fett or Vader or Maul or Obi-Wan. It's just like, these are characters that we've been introduced to before, but they're not like that status. So they can get away with more in the sense where we're not expecting so much, So,
but Darth Vader is out there.
He is, and he was in Rogue One.
So we'll see.
Next up, we got a new Star Wars show. We're getting another Disney Plus.
Another Disney Plus Star Wars show.
Which is called The Skeleton Crew, starring the one and only Jude Law.
Dude.
You had me at Jude Law.
Can we just talk about how he is one of those people who is landed in every major franchise almost that you can think of? Dumbledore, he's been a Marvel. He's been in Marvel. Now Star Wars.
What was he in Marvel?
He was in Captain Marvel. He played.
Oh my God!
What's his face? What's the character's name?
Marvel.
Marvel.
That's right. That is my voice. As my voice cracks. That's right, dude.
Yeah.
It's because I've only seen that movie once because I wasn't the biggest fan.
Well, that's for another day. But yeah, so he's. I mean, and he obviously it's Jude Law. He's been in a million other things. But, I mean, he's starting to check off some serious boxes.
Dude, Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter franchise.
Now we just need to get him in DC.
Who would he play?
Fan casting Jude Law in DC. That's a good one.
That is.
That's a good one.
He's an actor that could play virtually anything.
He really could.
He could be a good guy, a bad guy.
I would love to see him as like a Sinestro type. Like a good villain.
Yeah, a good villain would be really cool. I don't even know. I feel like I'd have to sit on that because... Again, he could do almost anything, I feel. Like, I would believe him in either, like, any role almost.
You could kind of throw a dart at a board and land on a character, and he could probably do it fairly well. But some obviously would be better than others.
But we do have to say the Skeleton Crew is going to be, produced and created by John Watts, the director of the Spider-Man franchise for the MCU.
Explains why he all of a sudden was like, I need to step away from Star Wars. I'm sleepy.
It's from Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, what'd I say? Star Wars. Yeah, he's like, I need to step away from Spider-Man. I just need a break. Yeah, need a break to do Star Wars.
But also writer Christopher Ford, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni. Yeah. So there's some talent involved with this series.
And the synopsis sounds great.
Yes.
It will follow a group of 10-year-old kids from a small planet who get lost in that galaxy far, far away and must try to find their way home. The story will take place after Star Wars Return of the Jedi and will fit within the timeline of The Mandalorian and Ahsoka. So it's going to be inside that world. Not surprising, it's Jon Favreau.
Filoni's in there, Ahsoka's appearing at least one episode.
Yeah. So with that going on, but the one thing that I saw also that the comment that they made is that it's going to have an Amblin style coming of age adventure feel to
it. They were comparing it to the likes of like Goonies and E.T.
Which is very cool. That's a very cool take on Star Wars. So this one with
Jude Law at the helm and a bunch of like Stranger Thing type kids, you know. So he's gonna be like the Hopper of this this TV show.
So that could be cool.
All right. So from there this is a long awaited one, Tim, and I know there's tons of gamers out there who listen to this podcast. Jedi Fallen Order, I think it's safe to say, is one of the most fun games that's just come out in recent years. Just not even just Star Wars games.
In our opinion.
In our opinion, it's just it was received very well. The story, the gameplay, everything. Well, we knew we were getting a sequel. We finally got a teaser trailer for the sequel and a title, Jedi Survivor.
And can we talk about the fact that it looks insanely good?
Dude, I want Cal Kestis live action. Like, can we make this happen? Filoni, Favreau,
has to.
Like Kennedy, one of you, please.
Someone. It has to, man. It just looks so good, but it's in canon, so I just can't imagine that doesn't happen eventually. He's such a good character. The story is so well written. It just everything they're doing with this game series. I am not. We said it. We like games, stuff like that, but we're not gamers. He plays more than I do, even. But I don't play that much. Is the point?
Yeah. But you'll play this game.
But I played this game all the way through in a short period of time.
So you're gonna play the sequel.
Like, it was really, really, really good. Like, it locked me in, and I had to see it through to the end. And so I'm really stoked for this, and this one looks just as good, if not better than the first one, potentially.
I'm very curious to see what the story is going to be, because when you watch the teaser trailer and stuff, you see like this person in this weird like cryo chamber water tube thing. You're like, what's going on there? Like, what's happening? Yeah. So I'm curious.
That's going to be a good one. When does that drop? Did they say?
They did not say. I believe it was 2023 sometime, but games are so fickle with their release dates. Yeah. But anyway, moving along, keeping that timer going. Bad Batch Season 2, we knew that was happening, but we got a teaser trailer for it. It's literally under a minute. And simply said, at least for me, it looks great. I love the first season. I love the time period it's in, where it's like you see the transition from Order 66 and how these clone troopers who have not been turned, I guess you could say, are dealing with that in the transition period. And I really, really love, I said this for season 1, how you're getting to see clone troopers slowly turn into stormtroopers. Yeah. Even their armor changing slightly and like going full stormtrooper. So I really like this time period, and the Bad Batch crew are really great characters all around. Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I love that they're filling in the gap both in terms of the troopers, just all the characters within the Star Wars universe, within that mythos, to show what their transition was between the world before the Empire and the transition into the birth of the Empire, and it really taking power and expanding.
That scene in the first episode of season 1 where the Emperor was there and you see them with all the clones, I was like, dude, that is so
really,
freaking
really cool. So, and the characters that they came up with for the Bad Batch, they're just all so compelling. Great characters.
What's gonna happen with Crosshair?
Yeah, who knows?
They left it open at the end of season 1.
Even in the teaser, it was a little bit like, where's he at?
I know.
In this, you can't really tell. I mean, it's such a short. I can't wait till that comes out, because again, truly, that was, I think for both of us, that was one of our favorite things they've done with Star Wars in a minute.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Moving along with more Star Wars, obviously, we're going to live action. Ahsoka, 2023. Now, no trailer. At least for us. I think they may have shown some footage.
They showed first look there.
But we did get some confirmations. We know Chopper will be in the show. They actually brought him out on stage at Star Wars Celebration. We know Ezra Bridger is officially confirmed, and Sabine Wren is officially confirmed. I mean, we kind of knew that already, but they're pushing it along.
These were all assumptions that were more or less confirmed.
Yeah, so we got Ezra, Sabine, and Chopper definitely in the show alongside Ahsoka.
And I believe there was a tease for
Thrawn.
Wasn't there?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because I know that they already talked about casting for him.
Yeah, I don't remember that. But either way, I was going to say, this is definitely going to be a sequel to Rebels. So you'd assume that anyway. So it's a live action sequel to Rebels. So if you love Rebels, because this is all day Filoni too. Yeah. He's writing and directing like the whole thing. This is his baby, with like notes and advice from Favreau. But I'm excited because of that. Ahsoka over the last few years has become like one of my top 5 favorite Star Wars characters.
That's fair.
Like, she is awesome.
Well, Rosario Dawson did such an incredible job.
But even in like the Clone Wars,
yeah,
like from the animation side, like she's just, and she's Anakin's Padawan. Like, that alone just makes her super cool. And the fact that she's like, Master, you turn, and she stayed with the light, and she's like, the whole thing's that she's conflicted.
But even the dynamic where she's not a Jedi.
Yeah, because now she's like a gray Jedi.
So torn.
And she's got the white blades. Dude.
Really cool story arc for her. And again, Rosario Dawson, just what we've seen of her so far in The Mandalorian, just really good. The one episode in season 2, her episode in season 2, was arguably the best episode. One of the top 3 best episodes of the entire Mandalorian season so far. So
I also like in that time period at that current point in time, not in the end, that current point in time, she's actually more powerful than Luke, which is really cool.
Yes, at that moment,
as we were like, not in the end, at that moment.
Yes. Everybody calm down.
That point in time, which is really, really cool. And you could kind of even see that how Filoni wrote that with their interaction where like...
Very careful.
Yeah, and she was almost mentoring him and giving him advice in a way. Like you just had the essence of like, I've been doing this longer, Luke. Yeah. Which is true. She's been a Jedi way longer than Luke at that point. So very cool.
Luke will soon ask her to hold his beer.
Yeah,
but, not yet. But yeah, so I am very quickly, with Ahsoka, I'm torn because I was very excited. And then some of the more recent stuff that's gone on with Star Wars, i.e. Boba Fett, and we'll get to this in a minute, Obi-Wan, have me a little bit nervous about it. But, it's Dave Filoni. It's his baby. He did an incredible job with it in The Mandalorian where he wrote and directed that episode. And I just have to hope that it's going to follow what we saw in The Mandalorian, not some of the other problems that we've seen. Dang it, I did it again.
We gotta go.
You get the gist. All right, fine, move on.
Mando Season 3, they showed a teaser trailer there. We did not see it, although it leaked online. I'm not saying you can find it, but I'm not saying that you can't find it, so do what you wish with that information. And the reactions and what I personally may or may not have seen looks really good. Tim, looks really, really cool.
Well, I have not seen it. Did I mention I've been busy?
Man, I mean, again, I'm not going to go on. I'm currently, for those watching, I'm wearing a Mando shirt. I have a Mando helmet.
There's not much to be said. You guys know how we feel about the
Mando. I said it earlier, joking here in the studio. Mando single-handedly started saving Star Wars. I don't even care. Disagree with me if you want. It's true.
Yeah. I think that is a perfectly fair position. Without question, Star Wars was in trouble with the fan base.
Yeah.
Until The Mandalorian came along.
And then with the success of with his shows, or his first 2 seasons of his show, we got Boba Fett. We're getting Ahsoka. We got the Filoni Favreauverse. So if Mando wasn't successful, we wouldn't be getting, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, all that stuff, and maybe even like Andor and stuff. They're like, oh, you want Star Wars TV? We'll give you Star Wars TV.
At the same time, you're kind of like, if Mandalorian was successful, they'd over at Lucasfilm, they'd have been like, I mean, what else can we do?
Yeah.
Because it was just so on brand with the, OG Star Wars and its vibe, tone, style, everything. Right?
Needless to say, Mando Season 3, Tim.
Yeah.
He's got the Darksaber. He's no longer a Mandalorian.
I don't know. Should we call it Mandalorian Season 3 or Season 4 based on Boba Fett? I don't know which way to go.
The thing that's funny to me is I think I said this in an old podcast. The armorer is like, you're no longer a Mandalorian. And he's like, he could be like, please, I got the Darksaber. You're no longer a Mandalorian. You're like, bow.
You're supposed to follow me, bro.
What do you do? Who's got the Darksaber? I do. Get on your knees.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I wonder what
that's still kind of annoying to me. Like I'm like she literally says whoever has this, Bo-Katan says it to whoever has this rules all of
like what's your
all the Mandalorians. It's like
you don't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah, it's like no, I make the rules now. Anyway.
But I am a little bit like I don't know with Mandalorian 3. I'm very curious to see because obviously I'm just as excited for it as you. It's my favorite Star Wars thing going on right now. But I'm very curious to see.
Actually, I would say it's my favorite Disney Plus thing going on.
I think that's fair too.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. Totally. So I'm very curious to see what the disparity is between Mandalorian and everything else we've gotten since Mandalorian Season 2. To see if there's a continuation of some of the things that have happened since, which have not been as great, or if we just go right back to Mandalorian Season 2. I'm curious.
That's my
only thought.
The best episodes of Boba Fett, I think most would agree with me, were the last 3 episodes that all had the Mandalorian. They had the Mandalorian. The best episodes of Boba Fett were the ones with the Mandalorian. So that means Season 3 is going to be awesome. Let's move on.
That was cheating, kids.
All right, so more Star Wars. We're almost kind of sort of done. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi animated series 2023. They're basically going to be a series of shorts created by Dave Filoni that's going to fill in gaps for Count Dooku and Ahsoka. So we're going to see a young Jedi Count Dooku, which we've never seen before.
Which is very interesting.
I cannot wait to see that. And then we're going to get to see Ahsoka being trained by Anakin.
Yeah.
So we're going to get more of like that training process of him teaching her.
It's also supposed to give us Liam Neeson returning to
Qui-Gon?
voice Qui-Gon.
We're going to talk about this in a second. But if freaking Qui-Gon doesn't show up and Obi-Wan Kenobi in the final episode, because there's only one left, I riot. He's
We're going to talk about that in a minute. There's a lot to say about that.
He's talking to Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
they literally set it up. He's like, Qui-Gon, give me strength.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to. We're going to be violating the 3-minute rule, I think, a little bit on the. But yeah, so I mean, everything about Tales of the Jedi, the animated series, it sounds great. I think it's an awesome idea, showing us Count Dooku as a Jedi before he turns to the dark side, giving us more Ahsoka. So I'm curious to see what gaps they're going to be looking to fill in for her there and why, kind of, especially because she's getting her own show. So I'm a little curious there. But Liam Neeson returning to voice Qui-Gon, I'm all in for that. I mean, obviously, that's awesome.
I have a particular set of skills.
It's just Qui-Gon, it's another Taken, but it's Qui-Gon.
I will find you.
Yeah. So, yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so the last bit of Star Wars news is Obi-Wan.
Well, from Star Wars Celebration.
Okay. Well,
there's one other thing for Star Wars Celebration.
What is there?
Willow.
Oh, that's right. It's not Star Wars, though.
No. It's not Star Wars.
It's Lucasfilm, but it's not Star Wars.
Yeah, it was just. Speaking of.
I know what you're going to say.
Speaking of, we got it's a still of Harrison Ford coming back to play Indiana Jones. And of course, the Star Wars Celebration I don't go to, John Williams comes out and conducts an entire doggone orchestra and plays some of his iconic music that we all grew up, the theme songs for our childhood. And I'm not there.
Literally the greatest film composer of all time.
And then Harrison Ford comes out. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw
Harrison
it.
Ford comes out, interacts with, because it was John Williams' 90th birthday. 90.
And he's still pumping out magic.
He's composing Indiana Jones 5.
It's pretty great.
Dude. So Harrison Ford comes out and he talks to John Williams and he's wishing him a happy 90th birthday. And he gets all weepy. And it was like this really kind of like special moment where you could tell it was two people whose careers that are epic and iconic are coming to an end, and they're realizing that, and they're just really just kind of relishing the moment because they know it could be their last time doing something like this.
I was like, not to be morbid, but let's be real. When you're 90, like any day could be your last.
No joke.
You're 90.
No joke.
You've lived your life.
Even Harrison Ford's in his 70s.
It's true.
Harrison Ford's in his 70s. I am not trying to jinx Harrison Ford. But I'm saying, as far as like him appearing in things like Indiana Jones, being Han Solo and stuff like that, this is probably like the closing of the door of that chapter of Harrison Ford. And that is like a wild, but a sad, but also kind of a cool thing in the sense of, just how much these guys have brought, to our entertainment and really to our childhood, just from a nostalgic sense. So that part was very, very cool. And then, of course, the Willow trailer.
I liked it. I'm going to watch it. I liked the film as a kid. It's, I wouldn't say, it's not one of those films where like The Goonies or The Sandlot where like I absolutely loved. At least I know that it is for a lot of people. They love Willow, but I enjoyed Willow as a kid, so I'm gonna watch the series because I want to see where it goes. Plus, I love oh my god, I forget
Warwick Davis.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
when we went to Star Wars Celebration in 2019, he was he was the host for like the festivities and stuff there, and he's just awesome in person. Like he's just a fun guy. Even in the this is the official teaser trailer, but the announcement trailer where he's like, I'm Warwick Davis. Like he's being, very tongue in cheek, but pretending like it's all about him.
His interaction with the rest of the cast.
So good. Yeah. So good. He just seems like a fun time, and I want him on the podcast. Let's get him on the podcast.
That's a good idea. He would actually be amazing.
Get work on the phone.
So yeah, I'm the same. I loved Willow as a kid, and I look forward to seeing this. It looked good. Well, it didn't blow my mind or anything, but it looked good enough to watch, so I'll be there for it.
I figured it's gonna fall in line with you for like Dark Crystal. Remember, you were super excited for Dark Crystal.
Yeah, I actually really liked that, and I'm hoping they come back with another season.
I heard nothing about it. It doesn't matter. Got to move on.
Got to move on.
All right, so now back to Star Wars, which this is the end of Star Wars Celebration because they premiered the first 2 episodes at Star Wars Celebration.
That's right.
And we haven't talked about one yet. Literally, the finale is next week as of shooting this podcast, and we haven't talked about it once.
That's right. So like you, we are all up to speed on through episode 5 of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I want to preface this by saying all of you who have listened to the podcast, watch the main show, you know how excited both of us were going into Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sure. This was just an epic opportunity in terms of Star Wars, the world of Star Wars, to bring back these 2 iconic characters and not just rematch them in terms of like fighting one another, but also do a character study on these two. Then the actual show hit. So I'm going to let you talk first, because let's do positive first, and then we'll get to Debbie Downer.
You already set this up. Everyone's like, oh, here we go. Yep. I like the show. I enjoyed the show. Does it have its problems? For sure. The writing is clunky. There's a lot of like, that doesn't make sense moments. There's even some things that's just like feels weird, or it's like for no reason. And they're doing, my biggest gripe, besides even like some of the writing issues and things feeling just odd, is this the reason why everyone's showing up for this series is Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Yes.
When you said Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor coming back to reprise their roles as Kenobi and Vader,
that's what they're there for.
That's what everyone's here for.
Yeah.
No one's here for anything else. Right. Okay, so no matter like, so Leia, I actually like Leia in the show, right? But I'm not being real. I like her in the show. I'm not here for Leia. I want like, okay, you can have her 1 or 2 episodes. Let's move on. Yep. Like there's lots of characters I like in Star Wars. For this particular show, it's all about Kenobi and Vader. So it frustrates me that we're on episode. They've wasted like 2 or 3 episodes not focusing on Kenobi and Vader's relationship. That's my main frustration here, because I enjoyed episode 5. Well, I know you'll say how you feel later. I personally thought that freaking episode was dope, because I'm a fan of the prequels. It got the kid in me where I'm like, oh my God, I remember watching sitting in my room on a blue beanbag chair, watching Revenge of the Sith. This is awesome. Like hearing Hayden Christensen's voice as Anakin there, the back and forth. I'm like, I thought they matched that perfectly. Could they have de-aged him better or de-aged him at all? Yes, but whatever. Then the fight with Vader at the end with Reva, I don't care what anyone says. You can disagree with me all you want. I will stand on this hill and die. That is the best live action Vader sequence we have gotten to date. I don't even care. You agree or disagree with me all you want. I'm standing there. That's that freaking scene. I've watched it like 5 times today. I just like went to it and watched it because it is so freaking cool.
All right.
So cool.
All right.
I don't even care. I know you can complain about the visual effects or whatever. Like, we've never seen Vader move that live action, move like that, do that cool. It was just completely and utterly badass for me. So I'm a fan, and we gotta move on.
You landed right on your 3 minutes.
Dang, so there it is. So overall, I like Kenobi, but I think it has issues for sure. But I'm excited for the finale.
All right, so all fair. And I have thought long and hard about how I'm going to address this. I'm going to start by saying I would have to think long and hard to think about any form of movie or television that has disappointed me more than this show has. And I don't want to get specific because I don't want to insult anybody's work. But the writing, the direction that they went with this show, most notably the fact that this was not a singular focus on Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'll agree with that.
And Anakin Skywalker, their relationship, and a true character study of these two people that went in total opposite directions. And, Anakin, why he blames Obi-Wan, the fact that he didn't even know Anakin was alive until this series, and the psychological effects of that and all that. We're getting just a lot of close-ups of, Obi-Wan's eyes just, staring off. But the vast majority of the show has been focused on other characters and things that no one is there to see. And again, it's not about whether you like Leia or you don't. It's not about whether you like Reva or not, or whatever other character, because all of those things are really moot points. That's not what this show was supposed to be, or at least what fans, I think, were overall anticipating. And we're coming to this show to see happen and play out. And so a lot of the story direction has been a real disappointment for me. The writing has been very questionable for me on multiple fronts.
It's a fair complaint. That's one of my complaints.
A lot of the choreography, stunt choreography and things like that. There's a lot of issues I could get into. But, there have been a couple of times where I was a little bit even shocked at how tough some of the visual effects were.
You didn't like that Vader fight in episode 5?
Okay. So the Vader fight in episode 5, most recent, it was cool. But
the dude flipped her around with the Force and just shoot her away. He didn't even use his own lightsaber. He's like, you are so beneath me. I am not even using my lightsaber. I'm going to break yours in half and use yours against you.
My issue was it was cool, but it was clunky. It was very slow. The choreography was very, very slow. And I would argue the Vader scene in Rogue One, at the end of Rogue One, is still the best.
Oh, that's your favorite?
That is still the best Vader scene.
That's on my second
favorite. Even though he did not show as much power in that moment. The way it was shot, the way that it was presented was much more impactful, I thought. That the scene, the one thing that they did do in episode 5 that I was just like, that's how you demonstrate Darth Vader's power, was when he comes walking into that room where the ship is taken off, the transport ship. He literally grabs the sucker out of air, slams it to the ground, and just starts ripping the side off the
But that's like the beginning of that whole scene. That's the beginning of it.
But
that's awesome.
The visual effects made it harder for me because it looked like a video game. So it didn't look as good as I would have hoped.
Dang it, you're up.
The point is.
This is fun. I like this time limit thing.
The point is.
It's like a game.
The point is, it didn't land for me. So many aspects of this show just have not landed. I have no optimism going into the final episode that's going to change.
It's going to be the big fight, though.
We'll see what they do with it. But everything that I thought they were going to do with this, or I guess hoped. I really hoped they were going to do this. They have not, and so we'll see what happens with the finale. But it might not be the finale because we might be getting a season 2.
That's true. It might not be the series finale, but it could be,
series finale. Yeah. But it's the season finale. But I just don't think that that's much of an excuse, not for what this is.
Aiden Christensen just said yesterday that he would come back in a heartbeat if Disney called. So probably going to get season 2.
Well, hopefully that helps.
Anyway, moving on. We're out of time. We're back in Marvel because another show that premiered recently, that's 2 episodes in as of shooting this, is Miss Marvel. Yeah. Now, we're flipped on this. We already talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, completely.
Like 180 completely.
Right.
But in a really funny way because I was not the biggest fan of episode 1.
Yeah.
You liked episode 1, right?
This is why it's a little challenging because I think we're both in the same boat in the sense that we're both going into the show and like, I really don't care that much either way.
Yeah, kind of like SheHulk. I'm not a massive Miss Marvel fan. Like, I'm not reading her title every month and stuff like that. Like, she's just, again, there's just so many characters. That's not one of my favorite
and
characters.
both of us are going into this show in both episodes just kind of like, we're just going to see what it is.
Yeah, and again, it's the MCU. It's Disney Plus. I'm gonna watch it because that's who I am. That's what I do. But the first episode, after watching, I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me. But obviously, I was like, I'm gonna stick it through. Watch the second episode. I actually enjoyed the second episode. I thought the second episode was fun. With that said, it's like I don't think this is gonna be like my favorite show by any means for Marvel or my favorite in the MCU, like at all.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I could see for like, because it's clearly for a younger demographic.
Yeah.
So I think like, if you're in that demographic, you're younger and whatnot, I think you're going to love this show. And a lot of people are, which is cool. So it's kind of like what I was saying earlier, where I don't even get mad at this point because there's so much Marvel stuff that it's like, yeah, like I don't read every comic book title that comes out.
Yep.
I shouldn't be expected to read and love every MCU show they're pumping out because they're pumping out so much.
Yeah.
So that's where this falls for me. But like everything, I will hold final verdict until we finish it off with episode 6.
Yeah, I think all of that is perfectly reasonable. I was the flip. I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, that wasn't as, I don't want to make this sound bad. I wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Was it? Or not, or it was more interesting than I thought going into episode 1. But even that, I was just like, yeah, I can tell this isn't my kind of show. This is kind of like a free-form show. It's for a younger audience. It's for a different audience than me.
That cliffhanger in episode 2, though, I'm very intrigued. Like, I just want to know where spoilers. I want to know where that what do they call it? The bracelet. She calls it something.
Yeah, I can't remember what she calls it. The bangle, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Where what's giving it its power?
Yeah.
I want to know. I know you originally.
I stand by it's the technology for the 10 rings.
I don't know anymore. After like that, how they kind of were moving things at the end of that episode, I'm like, and the stuff with like her great grandmother, I believe. I'm like, I don't know. I think they're tying it somewhere completely else.
Maybe. There's still definitely because they're referencing the distant past also and kind of various events throughout time. But we know that based on Shang-Chi that those things have been on Earth for
could be like a different
long time.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I'm still kind of like, my theory is still that it's somehow connected to the same technology that the 10 rings are from. I guess we'll wait and see. Jeez, here we go again.
There we go.
But I did like the first one a little bit better. The second one trailed off for me. It was a little bit too freeform. And, I'm probably going to, end up in the same boat that we thought.
That's true. All right. So this next one, I guess we could do a minute each because it's kind of it's a threefer.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're going into the world of actual comic
comics
books now. So there's been a lot of big events going on. We got Flashpoint Beyond for DC. We got Dark Crisis for DC. Then we got Banner of War for Marvel and Judgment Day for
Coming
Marvel.
up, yeah.
So Flashpoint Beyond, I'm digging. It's Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
It's a sequel to Flashpoint and it's Jeff Johns.
And in a lot of ways,
it's
he's just picking up right where we left off.
Yeah,
in terms of
if you like Flashpoint Batman, if you like Jeff Johns, if you like Flashpoint, read the book. It's great.
Yep.
We're covering it on the main channel.
Yep.
So you can find it out. Check it out there. I think we already did the first 2 issues at this point.
And we're finally starting to see that there's connections between Flashpoint Beyond and Dark Crisis.
Yep.
They're starting to connect the two. So that was one of our big questions going into these two events is they're doing these simultaneously, very similar to Doomsday Clock and Dark Knight's Metal.
Yep.
And so we were very curious to see is like, why are they doing this again? And are these going to connect or is it going to be totally independent of each other? But they are in fact going to connect at some point.
Yeah,
they're already hinting at it in Flashpoint Beyond, and
it's really interesting. And one of the things I actually said it when we were breaking down the second issue, I believe. One of my favorite things with the series thus far is Johns is really diving into the detective side of Thomas Wayne, which we haven't really seen that much. And it's cool that like Thomas Wayne even says stuff like Bruce is a way better Batman than me. Like he's just better all the way around. So I like that we're getting because I'm Batman's my guy.
Yeah.
So I like that we're diving into that lore and seeing Thomas Wayne more. Read it.
And I think Thomas Wayne, just as a character, I think is really compelling.
Awesome, because
obviously always, but
yeah,
he's carrying that through
Dr.
really well
Wayne.
in this book so far.
But also Dark Crisis, we're covering that on the main channel as well. Yep. The Road to Dark Crisis, and more recently, issue 1.
That's right.
And I've been vocal on the podcast. I am done with these crisis events. But it's too early on for me. So thus far, I'm like, okay, we're still at the we're setting up stage.
Yes.
Because we had, the Road to Dark Crisis, which was set up, and even issue 1 is kind of more set up where we just see John Kent Superman building his Justice League, and we're kind of seeing the players. We learned that Deathstroke is going to be a big player for the bad guys and stuff going forward, while Pariah's doing stuff behind the scenes.
Who's going to be the leader of the new Justice League?
Yeah. Which they're hinting Nightwing should be the new leader, and I'm like, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm like, someone knows what's up. So there's inklings of this could be really cool, but for me personally, I feel like it's too early to tell because I'm so jaded by crisis events. I'm like, all right,
it's totally fair.
I'm gonna read it and see where it goes, but I'm still hesitant.
I'm a little bit curious as to see where they go with the Pariah's part of the story.
Yeah.
Because they're setting up some interesting things there. For those of you who haven't read it yet, you can watch our full episodes. We won't go full spoiler with it. But they're hinting at some interesting things there that might be compelling. I'm just curious to see also, just going back to the connection between that and Flashpoint Beyond, I'm curious to see how they connect.
Yeah. So, I think, are we almost out of time? Look at your timer.
But we can do Marvel.
We can do Marvel 3 minutes. Okay, so Banner. Boom. Banner of War. I think this is my favorite event book in a while, at least a year or two. It's Donny Cates.
Yeah, it's so night and day, though. This is just pure
fun,
action, adrenaline, fun.
But that's why
there's nothing serious about it almost.
I feel like we need that so much right now, especially in comics, though.
Because
Flashpoint Beyond is great and stuff, but, it's more of a heavier tone, and I love it. But it's just...
And I think that's what's kind of wearing us out, I think, with the crisis events.
Yeah, it's just so the world is ending, people are dying, let's reset. But again, this is on the other side where it's just good versus evil. They're not pushing any agenda. They're not really taught. It's just good versus evil comic book fun with fun concepts.
Wouldn't it be cool if Thor became Hulk and Hulk became Thor and then they fought each other?
Cates is, man, I am a Cates fanboy. I don't even care. I will admit it. I am a full-on Donny Cates fanboy. There's not one thing he's done for Marvel that I have not liked.
Yeah.
Actually, everything he's done has been some of my favorite books.
That's
Thor, freaking Thanos, Venom. The guy is, man, he's hitting home runs left and right.
Yeah,
and
at least for up till this point, he has been on point.
So if you like fun,
he's been on point.
If you like the Hulk, you like Thor, you like good, just fun comic books that's just, I don't want to say mindless, but just, you're just there to have a good time, like a blockbuster movie.
Yep.
Read this book, Banner of War.
Maverick.
Yeah, Maverick, yeah.
I won't go off on a tangent. It's great.
But we got that, and then we also have Judgment Day, which hasn't officially started at the time of shooting this video.
Yeah, we're actually working on a Road to Judgment Day.
I was actually gonna say I was working, reading and doing that today, and I actually didn't really even know the full concept until today. So it's really cool. So basically, you got the Eternals, you got the X-Men, and you got the Avengers. Basically, long story short, we're gonna break this down, I guess, in an episode, but I'll give you the summary right now. Long story short, we find out that the Eternals are there to like kill anyone with deviations and stuff like that. And they eventually find out because the X-Men now could bring people back to life and stuff. They're like, oh, there's some kind of deviation. It may not be a mutation. So the Eternals are setting out to kill the X-Men. The Avengers are caught in the middle to be like, hey, guys, don't fight. And it's a 3-way battle royale, and it actually seems really fun.
It very much does. And they've got the Hell Gala or whatever that's kind of integrated in there. They did it last year. They're doing another one this year. But you know, there's been several books, you know, each of their individual titles, and then several other, you know, spinoffs.
The main setup, I will say, is from Free Comic Book Day, though. That's the main. That is the main. It breaks everything into lead into the story.
So there's my point is there's some scattered pieces to connect it all, you know, leading into the Judgment Day event. So we're gonna try and piece all that together for you guys in an episode, but. I think it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I love the fact that Banner of War is kind of leading into that. So I'm very curious to see. But the main thing is, and time is about to expire, but I get like 5 seconds.
Oh, cheater.
But the thing that I'm very interested in what they're doing at Marvel is that a lot of the books that they are doing, and I think the Judgment Day event is very similar, is it's touching on things in many cases that we've already seen them start to set up in the MCU. And I'm wondering how those things, because it seems like those things are starting to come closer together as they, more so than they have in the past. And I'm curious to see how that continues as Marvel Comics seems to want to come more in line with what we either are already seeing in the MCU or what we may see in the future.
This is true.
So we'll keep an eye on it.
I'm excited. But you know what else we got, Tim? You know what else we got? We got the first look or first teaser trailer, I would say. Like first trailer. We got a first look at Fandom. But the first official trailer or teaser trailer, I don't know. With teasers, they call everything teaser trailers. Let's just say trailer.
Yeah.
Okay. First trailer.
I would call it a trailer.
For Black Adam. And it looks fun. I mean, I'm here all day to see the freaking Black Adam punch a freaking jet out of the sky. I will show up for that. I will give you my $15 and I will watch it.
Can I talk about the fact that I am so excited to see Mo Amer in this movie?
Oh my God, that's right.
I am so excited to see him in this movie.
He's the freaking dude in the truck at the end.
Exactly.
I didn't even connect that till just right now.
So excited to see. If you guys don't know who Mo Amer is, he is a hilarious comedian. He
has
a really great special on Netflix.
Dude, that's great.
I think it's called Texas, right?
Something like that.
Just Mo Amer from Texas or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's just a really funny guy. But his interaction.
The stock market is skyrocketing.
Yeah. I'm very curious. I'm very excited to see how his interaction with The Rock in this movie goes.
Dude, I feel like you just made me more excited. I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah, really fun. But everything else about the trailer looks, I think, like a ton of fun. There was one bit where I can't remember who says it to him, where he says, heroes don't, it's Hawkman. He says, heroes don't kill people. And he does the whole Rock slow walk up. Well, I do. You know, I do. That was the one thing that I was just like, oh, that's what we were like. It's okay. Here goes The Rock.
That was my only complaint because, like, well, first before I go on, Dr. Fate, my dude.
I think it's gonna be my favorite part of this entire movie. Without question.
Oh, for sure. Dr. Fate, Hawkman. I'm here for both of them.
Oh, and
Hawkman looks dope.
Hawkman looks so good.
He looks really, and Adam Smasher looks really cool too, though.
He does.
Like
they showed more of Hawkman, I think, and Fate than anything.
And I'm very curious the direction they're going with Dr. Fate's helmet, where he's got no eye holes.
I saw that.
And it's kind of different pattern on each side. So you know they're going to explain that. I would hope they're going to explain that in some way. So I think that's kind of cool. A cool way to go about it, though, because it's like, you know, he's a sorcerer. He could see. You know, he doesn't need eye holes to see. Like, he could, you know, see his surroundings with magic and stuff. But I'm here for Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
Adam Smasher. Even The Rock. Although, my only hurdle, like I'm sure you will agree, is just not seeing The Rock.
Not seeing The Rock, yeah.
But I think this is going to be a fun DCEU film. And The Rock in a press conference said that he's looking for this to, like, basically save the DCEU. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
He flat out said that, like, this will be the foundation to build the rest of the DCU going forward.
Oh, wow.
He said that That's almost a quote. It's not a
but
quote.
Is that The Rock hyperbole?
It's one of those things where it's like Black Adam shouldn't have really gotten his own movie, but he did because The Rock.
Yeah.
So it's like The Rock's he's literally the biggest star in Hollywood, so he can make things happen. So
it is skyrocketing.
Yeah. So I mean, hey man, if this movie is successful and we can have a good trajectory going forward with the DCEU with the crap going on with Ezra Miller and Amber Heard, I'm there for it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense as to why he's saying this is the reset button. But yeah, I think this is going to be, if nothing else, I'm nothing serious. It just looks like a blast to go sit and watch.
Speaking of films, comic book films, is Joker 2.
Oh, boy.
We got official confirmation. We even got a picture of Joaquin Phoenix looking at the new script for Joker 2. And then a few days after that, news broke that Lady Gaga is up for the role of Harley Quinn. But not only that, the movie will potentially be a musical or at least have musical elements within it.
Yeah.
Hence Lady Gaga. She's also obviously a singer.
Yeah.
And this... it's still, I don't know. It's weird because the Joker movie is one of the best comic book movies ever made.
Yes.
Like that movie
certainly
is
in terms of like a character study.
Yeah, it is perfection. Like even not a comic book movie, it's just a good movie.
It's just a good movie.
Like the writing, the acting, there was Oscars all around for this film for a good reason.
The serious assessment of mental illness. I mean, just kind of across the board, just a really well-made, well-written film.
So there's two things going on in my mind. I think I said this to you and some other people already, where it's like, on one end, this is so out there and crazy that it just might work. And I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt, I suppose, because of how good Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillip were with the first one.
Yeah.
But on the other end, it could be like, maybe they're just like, oh, we can do no wrong, so let's do a musical.
Yeah.
And it goes totally off the rails.
Off the rails, yeah.
I don't think there's a middle ground for this. I think this is going to be awesome, or it's going to be like, what did you do? And that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's either genius or hubris. It's one or the other. So
we'll find out.
I think that also, there's a very good chance that it's being blown out of proportion.
Possibly.
And someone found out that, like for instance, that there's a scene or scenes in the movie where Joker goes into his own mind, like Harley Quinn is a nurse or a doctor at the ward he's in. Yeah. He goes into his own mind and there are music-esque sequences.
That could be cool.
It's clearly like in his imagination and it's just done in a way that's almost off-putting and nerve-wracking, which that works.
Yes.
So it might, and somebody may have just found that out and then just leaked that and it got blown out of proportion. There's a very good chance that that's the case. Having said that, it could not. It could become like a full-blown musical, and they could just be like, it'll be fun. Let's turn this into a musical, and we'll go full Broadway. And everybody's like, oh my God, what's happening?
This is the definition of a creative fork in the road.
Yes.
It's going to go this way or that way. It's not staying in the middle.
I'll just say I will not be surprised if you get Todd Phillips coming out soon going, guys, this was all like, there's certain things, I'm not going to get into detail, but this was blown way out of proportion. This is not going to be a musical.
Yeah.
Whatever. I won't be surprised either way, but yeah, I mean, again, you kind of have to give these guys the benefit of the doubt because they made such a stellar film with the first one.
Freaking amazing. And I think we're almost out of time. So we did that one without a buzzer.
We nailed it almost down to the minute or to the second.
But now we're at the end where
the timer.
You got to turn it off. We're at the end where we got Jurassic Park Dominion, which I haven't seen, but we also have the first 5 episodes of The Boys and Stranger Things season 4, which you haven't seen, but I've seen.
Right. So flip-flop.
So yeah, we're flip-flop. But I know you want to rant with Dominion.
I'm not going to rant. I am not going to rant because I came into this podcast, this lightning round return of variant podcast, determined not to be Debbie Downer.
Wait, but was that 38% on Rotten Tomato fair?
It was too high.
Wow.
It was too high.
Wow. Somewhere Chris Pratt just went, there's a disturbance.
So listen, here's the thing. Again, we've talked about this many times as well, but Jurassic Park holds a special place for me. And
a lot of people.
A lot of people. It's a fan love franchise, but it was really the film that made me, my brother, just kind of, me and my brother mostly, but just made us want to tell stories and get into visual filmmaking. From the time we were young. It was like it's a core memory. Seriously, like it is really a core memory for me and my brother, Ryan. And so, Jurassic World, the first one, was kind of a fun return to the franchise. I thought they did a good job with it.
It had the Force Awakens effect.
Yes.
Where it's like, it's been so long, and it's kind of like the original one.
Yeah,
so,
they put just enough of a fresh spin on it. There was a lot of nostalgia in the movie, for fan service, Easter eggs, so forth. And then the second one, it just really started to spiral. And this one, it just is entirely off the rails. I could go off on a whole long tangent. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to say that I've already heard them talking about making another, God bless you.
Thank you.
Making another one and where the franchise should go. I think the franchise should be retired. I think that they need to leave it alone.
I mean, this is 6 films. This is 6.
Yeah. And it is just an exploitation of a fan love franchise at this point.
No, man,
in my opinion, and they just need to let it go. It just was a real.
I will say,
it was not
the Netflix animated series Camp Cretaceous. That's a great series. Me and my daughter watch it all the time. It's fun.
I haven't seen that. I've
it's
heard
obviously
from several parents that it's fun for kids.
Yeah, it's obviously for the younger ones, but it's fun and I like it, and it stays true to the films.
I wish I could say that about the Jurassic World Dominion.
Well, the things that I've watched that you haven't seen are actually freaking awesome, Tim.
Yeah. Well, so. I need to flip flop my life choices because.
I'll start with Stranger Things.
I will say this. I will add, to be fair, I will say this. I took my family. My whole family went to go see it, okay? And it was down the middle. My 2 daughters came away from it going, it was fun. Like, it wasn't like a groundbreaking film or anything like that. My time is up. I get it, okay? But
moving on. So, Stranger Things season.
But they did say that it was fun for them. So, I guess, 38% might be fair.
Okay. All right. All right. Now my time has started.
Right,
okay.
There you go.
So Stranger Things season 4, part 1. The first 7 episodes of part 1 of part 4.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. I'm not gonna get it. So the first half of season 4 has been out for a while now. I've watched it all. Dude, I think this is the best season since season 1. I absolutely loved this season.
Wow.
Like no joke. I caught myself actually smiling while watching.
Really?
No, like it made me happy.
Are we still in the 80s?
Yes, I believe 89.
Okay, so it's still 80s vibe.
That's actually one of the complaints because the kids are getting older. So I think the Duffer Brothers, the creators of the show, are like they're gonna actually have to do a time jump for the last season 5, because they're like because of COVID and stuff, they just look too much older and they can't stay in that time anymore and pull it off look wise, because kids at their age
their age specifically
like 2 or 3 years is a lot. So anyway, I loved it. The new villain, I won't say anything about it, but the new villain this year, or the bad of this year, is great. It's just funny. Again, it's my favorite. It's only rivaled by season 1 is what I will say.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to get this going.
I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but the last half is coming out July 1st. And it's going to be 2 episodes, but the first episode is going to be an hour and a half, and the second episode is going to be 2.5 hours, which is another thing for the season 4.
Wow.
All the episodes for this season are between 110 and 120, and then episode 7 is an hour and 40 minutes.
Dude, that's a movie.
Dude, I'm saying almost every episode is a movie, and then the last one is a movie. It's an hour and 40 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're giving us a lot, and it is all good. I don't have a bad thing to say about the season. Not one complaint coming from me.
I might get that started tonight. Then.
You should. And another one I know you watched that you haven't watched yet is The Boys. That as well.
I'm actually 2 seasons behind on that show. I have not seen season 2.
Oh my God.
I know.
Okay, well, you're in for a treat then. You just get to keep going. Season 4 is awesome. Like, again, now, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you know, but the rare few that don't, it's very rated R. Oh, this is one of the most rated R shows I've watched in recent years. So, like, if you're like, hey, I'm going to watch this with my 10-year-old, maybe, do what you wish, obviously, but, like, just know there's some stuff.
Just stand down. Stand down.
Just giving all the parents warnings out there for, it's like, oh, let's watch The Boys. That'll be fun. And then you see something happen. You're like, oh, my God. But with that said, it is great. I think it's getting more tense. Freaking Homelander. I think Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander, that guy is the way he could switch from evil to like, oh, hi, like, but still have the evil in his eyes. Is great. Butcher, just, I love this show. I love it. Again, 5 episodes in at the time of shooting this, or 4 episodes in at the time of shooting this. Not a bad thing to say thus far.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're ending on a high.
That's good. Yeah, and
I beat it.
You did. You did. You made it the whole way. I haven't seen, so I can't say anything about it. But I will say also, Maverick was my palate cleanser.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
but
you haven't seen that.
I've heard only good things,
bro. We should just go. We should just go.
I want to
just go see it because it is like, even aside from whether you like the first Top Gun or you don't, like what Tom Cruise pulled off with this movie, Maverick, in terms of the practical elements of flying in the planes and stuff like that, where you're literally seeing the G-forces pull their faces down in the scenes. I mean, dude, you feel tense.
We got to see it in 4D.
I'd be totally.
Let's do it. Let's see it in 4D.
But that one was. They did a killer job, and they showed the first trailer for Mission Impossible, the first of the two.
Oh,
finales,
right, yeah.
And it looks.
I mean, it's Tom Cruise. He's a real life superhero.
I've decided that any Tom Cruise movie from now until forever, until he finally stops making these action films, I'm going to see them twice in theater because I really think that when he stops doing this, it will be the end of these kind of practical these huge big budget action film blockbusters. You know
Dak Shepard, right? The actor Dak Shepard.
Yeah.
Kristen Bell's husband. He was on I think Kimmel or Fallon, and he was praising the movie, saying that Tom Cruise is single-handedly going to save Hollywood.
Dude,
he's like, it's not Spider-Man, it's not Batman, it's Tom Cruise.
Dude, it is hard to think of a movie that replicates the intensity that he was able to inject just because so much of what they did was real. And you feel it and you see it.
I know we're wrapping up here, but I just want to say one final thing. I love that he was wanting to fly the F-18 and the government was like, here's the thing, Tom. That's a $70 million plane, but more so than that, you ain't got the government clearance to fly our freaking jet that, we send to other countries to do things.
And Tom Cruise was like, yeah, it's totally fine, guys. It's fine. It's like, I got insurance.
Yeah, I got 70 mil. We're like, but here's the thing, Tom. You don't have the government clearance. You're a civilian, okay? That's the thing, Mr. Cruise.
Even Tom Cruise got to know on that one. But yeah, and what he pulled off is crazy, and it's got me really excited to see what they're pulling off because it's Christopher McQuarrie was involved in Maverick too.
That's got to be weird. I'm just thinking about it now. Being in those jets, like these are the actual jets that our country uses for mission, real world missions and wars and whatever they're doing.
Yep.
That's a lot of weight when you think about it, right? That's
Dude,
just
I'm telling you, and you feel it in these scenes because they shot it to where the cameras were attached to the plane, and the actors had to control their cameras in many cases. So did the pilots. So you're seeing them, and you could tell. And I know without any shadow of doubt, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like this was like a Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise is a pilot. And when they're in the scenes in the planes and they're banking hard to the left or the right or whatever. The actual sound effects that they use, you hear the clicking of the stick. You hear the grunts and the breathing like it would sound in the cockpit, which is really unique. You've never seen or heard it in this way. And that I just can't imagine that wasn't Tom Cruise going, no. You need to hear what it really sounds like.
I need to see it.
My cousin is a Top Gun fighter pilot. And Jim Damaris is his name. And he actually addressed this. He actually went on television and talked about Maverick. And he's like, this movie actually really does a good job of capturing what it's like.
Wait, your cousin was on TV talking about Top Gun and you didn't tell me this till now? Well, you're telling me this live on the podcast?
I thought you knew. Whatever, now you know.
Are you pregnant too, Tim?
Not yet. Could happen any day. But yeah, he was, because, I've talked to him many times about it, and he's told me about he served 2 tours in the original Iraq War.
Yeah, I knew that you had a cousin that was a fighter pilot. I didn't know that he was a Top Gun or that he was on TV talking about the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, just recently.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. And he was confirming, they did a killer job.
I talk about comics on YouTube.
These people really do make you feel like you've done nothing with your life. So that's
I can't fly a jet, but I'll tell you everything about Batman. I'll break down some history for you.
Speaking of ending on a positive note.
But I think that was a fun lightning round.
That was a fun one. And I think we covered so much ground.
We did a lot.
Hope you guys enjoyed the lightning round return of Variant, the podcast. This was fun to get back in studio.
And now we're going to be back normally. So fret not, comic comrades.
Under the new format that we talked about. Yes.
You'll at least see us once a week in some form. Yes. So there we go.
So we'll be covering stuff next week. We of course have coming out. What is the next thing?
Is it Thor? Is it Thor: Love and Thunder?
Well, no. Next week is Comic Tom's coming on.
Oh, right.
So we'll be back here with a longer format podcast. Another one with Comic Tom on as the guest, and then the following week is Thor: Love and Thunder.
And we got the Kenobi finale to talk about next week too.
Yeah, the Kenobi finale.
Numerous Marvel episodes, The Boys. Hopefully you get caught up with The Boys. We talk about The Boys.
That's probably not going to happen.
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. I'll try. And start.
So we can talk about.
I can only
some
do one at a time. I only got so much time in my life.
Stranger. Yeah, they're both really good, but in different ways, obviously. Yeah. But anyway, on that note, we're back again. We're back. And we'll see you guys next week when we talk about all things comics.